I put up this story, kind of urging people to check. I don't know how it is for Android users, but in iOS, you can check your screen time. You can like give yourself limits and stuff like that. And, go in and check your screen time and see how many hours for some people they're putting in a day, and what apps that they're looking at, and like what they're spending their time with. And are you mindlessly scrolling through Instagram or Twitter, or, falling into those cat video black holes? And take that, if you're spending 3 hours a day just staring at this little glowing box in your hand, take that 3 hours and put it towards something that you want to get better at.
PC family, we're joined today by design and logo wizard and font pairing king, Matt Dawson of Stay Gray Pony Boy, for round 2. Thank you so much for your presence again here, Matty boy. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. How are you this morning?
Life is good. It's cold. It's snowing. I've shoveled like 4 times in the last 7 days. I'm over it. Wish I was in some hot ATL weather right now.
Oh man, I wish I was too. It's actually kind of cold here in Austin.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that here in a second. I knew that.
Yeah.
That'll be something we talk about here shortly. But like, what's cold in Austin? Because we got family in Georgetown, just north of you guys.
Well, I feel kind of dumb now that you're talking about shoveling. But like, we woke up
60.
It's 45 this morning. But like, we got up and it was just like, man, it's cold outside. And it always gets really cold in my office because it's detached from the house, so it's got like a separate AC scenario. But yeah, that 45 is probably tropical weather.
That's tropical
for you, So yeah, I feel kind of
dating things back. Let's catch people up. So you were one of the first interview guests back on May 17th, 2017, episode 37.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So if you could give us a brief Wikipedia page summary about yourself and what you do today, and then catch us up, of everything that's happened since.
Yeah. So, to kind of reiterate that first Wikipedia page I gave a few years back, I'm Matt Dawson. I'm a graphic designer by trade. I mostly work in the identity and logo world. That's kind of become my bread and butter over the years. But I've been practicing for almost 14 years now. I've been getting paid to do it for about 14 years, so that feels good. Originally from Louisiana. Grew up there, went to college there, moved to Atlanta for a bit. Atlanta was rad. Love that city, and had an opportunity within the past year to relocate to Austin, as lots of designers do. So I filed in and joined the ranks of all the creatives here, and it's kind of stepped up my game because there's a ton of talent. So design wise, that's kind of me. That's where I am geographically. I also run Crop Conference, which is a biannual boutique creative conference that we put on 2 events per year. It's a shitload of fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. Met a lot of really amazing people, made some best friends through it. And yeah, it's a good time. So that's pretty much me, man. Design and event planning all day, every day.
Well, and kind of before our call, we were just getting into a conversation. You said you re-listened to the last episode and catching us back about giving things time. And I made sure to like do a hard cut because I'm like, dude, this is shit that would be just like great for a conversation. There's a lot of value baked in, and it's just real, not scripted or rehearsed. So let's just like kind of rewind and, tell people what we were just kind of talking about, where you were with it.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to repeat too much from our previous episode, so I listened to it this morning on like double speed, and it sounded crazy. But I went through it, and I noticed that even the intro, but a lot of the subject matter was giving things time. Because we see a lot of young creatives that want to fast track, and our past episode was about giving things time to grow. And over the past few years, I've kind of watched things shift to where, you know, everybody now says that they don't have time. And to piggyback off of our past conversation, like giving things time, now you need to make time. Because I always hear like, oh, like I don't have time for side projects, or I don't have time to build out a project that I want to get so I can put it on my portfolio and hopefully get a job in that industry. Like we give ourselves these excuses, and I've been there too. I'm definitely not guilt free from that, from that excuse territory, but you really have to find the time, if that's sacrificing whatever you're putting on your Instagram stories, or, like whatever show you're going to, or, this or that, like you can find time. If you really look at everything from a bird's eye view, you can make time. You have to sacrifice some things. But there's always time to achieve something that you're trying to achieve. You just have to sacrifice some things and go for it.
I think that's so funny and ironic, and why I wanted to save this for, the recording, is because the number one struggle people tell me that they have in pursuing their creative side hustle grind is finding time to execute outside of like their day job or life responsibilities. And that's the same thing I say to like all of them. If you can do what you're doing right now with like, you got your own personal freelance, you got your family, you have a conference, you have this side venture business that you're doing with other people at the same time, or that you've been doing, like you can make anything happen. It doesn't matter what it is. You just got to find those areas you're willing to sacrifice or willing to say no to. If you're binging cat videos on YouTube, or you find yourself in like an endless bottomless pit of watching Facebook videos or whatever it is, and like basically you're digging in your bag of excuses. I truly feel like I'm going to just maybe piss some people off or make them feel a burden a little bit. But if you say you don't have time, what you're really saying is what you really want to do isn't a priority.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Like this, getting better at this particular creative discipline is not my priority. That's exactly what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And that sounds harsh, but
it's the truth.
It's the truth. And sometimes the truth sucks. But yeah, like I'd put something up on Instagram. I think it was towards the new year. I don't know. Like, I can't believe we're already almost into February, but
this is February and this drops.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it will be.
We're in February.
But I put up this story, kind of urging people to check. I don't know how it is for Android users, but in iOS, you can check your screen time. You can like give yourself limits and stuff like that. And, go in and check your screen time and see how many hours for some people they're putting in a day, and what apps that they're looking at, and like what they're spending their time with. And are you mindlessly scrolling through Instagram or Twitter, or, falling into those cat video black holes? And take that, if you're spending 3 hours a day just staring at this little glowing box in your hand, take that 3 hours and put it towards something that you want to get better at. That's such an easy thing to sacrifice, because like that's just mindless, scrolling through this or that. Like you don't have to sacrifice family time, like you can sacrifice the screen time that you're doing. But yeah, we always give ourselves excuses to not push ourselves. But you and I both know, like if you want to get ahead, if you want to get better, you have to make things happen in the in-betweens.
I think one of the main things too is why it's easy to like dig in your bag of excuses why you don't have time is some people just don't have clarity on exactly what they want. So like if you don't like have clarity or intention of what you want to achieve by when, or what's like that one skill you want to master Procreate within the next 2 months, then you got to have that clear defined target. And if you don't have that, it's easier to dig in that bag of excuses. I mean, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It's funny that you say Procreate, because like that was kind of like the reasoning behind that. I'd had an iPad Pro for a few years, and man, I really, really underused it as a creative tool. And then, like end of the years, trying to like be able to write as much stuff off as possible. I was like, you know what, I'm going to get a new iPad and I'm really going to like bust my ass and try to, I'm only going to install like creative programs on it. So I did that, and like I started messing around in Procreate. I'd bought a bunch of brushes, and like now I sit down with that instead of my phone, and I'll draw in Procreate instead of just scrolling through my phone while watching TV or something. And I'm not very good at it yet, but I can see the progress from just starting to mess around with it like over a month ago.
But like when you went into it, your idea wasn't, hey, I want to get good at Procreate. Your intention were like, hey, I've been designing for so long. I want to get back in touch with illustrations. At least that's what you and me were texting on the side, talking about how like Jason and I draw all the time. We're not just always doing design work, but we draw, we illustrate.
Right. Yeah. I think it goes back to even like doodling, like as a kid, and, like doodling in the margins of like your notes and stuff. I used to draw a lot whenever I was younger, and then just like the fast paced nature of the jobs that come to me, and the work that I do, I don't ever have a lot of time to sketch, like I've never been a big process guy as far as like sketching a field notes book full of stuff. I always just kind of get right to it. And I've noticed how like my handwriting has suffered, and my illustration skills have suffered as well. So I was like, you know what, I want to. I've done a lot with vectors and Illustrator. I want to actually get a pen in my hand and try to see if I can stoke that fire a little bit and get it burning again.
Like, just why though? Just for the urge to do something different, the urge to challenge yourself, the urge to like tap in to like that nostalgic analog days, or like, I guess I'm just trying to like dig deeper, because I think a lot of people don't truly know why they want to do something.
I think for me, I just want to be a little bit more well-rounded. Uh, I go, 90 miles an hour on identity projects, and I'm working with logos, and I would like to be able to offer more than identity and packaging and general graphic design. I would like to add to my skill set,
Right
because
there.
I feel like if I can offer more things, I can get more opportunities. If I can get more opportunities, I can better provide for myself. I don't have to outsource illustration to somebody. So like that was kind of like my mindset as well. Those memes, like get someone that can do it all. I'm trying to kind of tap into that a little bit.
So, and like what Lincoln was on earlier, don't be a one trick pony, like be a Swiss Army knife, like still have your specialty, but be able to like, still flex in different ranges. So like the fact
Exactly.
someone could have just said, hey, I want to get at Procreate, but it's like, why, motherfucker? And then so like, oh, I guess I want to get better at illustrations, but why? I guess, well, maybe it's because I want to boost my skill set so I can have a bigger offering, so I can add a third tier to this premium package of what I'm pitching someone, of like, hey, you need custom illustrations for your responsive branding identity system. Like, there's got to be a why and a reason. Otherwise, you're not going to make time to do it. So like, how do you make time to draw right now within your insane schedule? Like, dude, you do not have an average life. It's a big life full of chaos.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's pretty busy, but again, I think it's taking stock of like how you spend your time, what you're doing, and really, really just evaluating it from it's like a running back looking for holes, in a football game. You've got to kind of look at everything that you've got going on and figure out the things that you can fill with something that you're looking to improve upon. And for me, like I sit on the couch with either my computer or my phone. A lot of times it turns into my phone, and I'm just like, what the hell have I, like, I've watched, 6 episodes of this TV show, and my computer's asleep, my phone battery is low. So for me, it was, okay, if I work from home, so I spend a lot of time bouncing from my office to like the couch to, or like wherever I can kind of like shake up the surroundings a bit. But a lot of that is spent on the couch, watching either concerts on YouTube or TV or movies. And I was like, I can spend this time drawing and getting reacquainted with illustration and trying to push myself in the digital world. And like a lot of it too is, envy, but like envy as a motivator, not envy as, like
Paralyzer.
a negative thing. Exactly. Yeah. Cause like I see guys like you and Jason and, my buddy up in Canada, High Red Design, and this shit looks fun. I'm just like, I want to do that. Like I'm seeing the videos and this and that. And, so yeah, for me, that's kind of my jam. Whenever I'm just chilling at night, on the couch, I'll just fire up Procreate and assign myself something to draw and just kind of try to get after it.
I'm like, kind of dating back to the first episode we have, like just because we had mentioned the topic doesn't mean it's not more important than ever, because a lot of things revolve around patience. So not only like you got to make the time to grind in order to shine, but like you got to give it time as well. And so many people are telling me they struggle with patience. They've been doing it for a month, hand lettering, and they don't see results, or they've been only doing something for a year and don't see results. And it's like, dude, I drew like daily on Instagram back in like 2013, 2014 for a straight year, barely getting anything. Then it started getting traction. I blogged for like a year and a half, 2 years, and nobody listened or paid attention. And then I put out a podcast for like 2 years and nobody paid attention. I've been
Yeah.
going on almost my 4th year of doing it. And now it's really gaining traction, but it's like, you got to give it time, make time, and then give it time.
You really do, man. Like they definitely go hand in hand. And I think since we last spoke, I kind of had a little bit of a crusade on the notion of make shit till you make it versus fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, like pushing yourself and like staying in your lane and giving yourself time to develop and achieve success versus paying attention to what everybody else is doing and wondering why you're not there yet. Like you've only been drawing on Procreate for a month. Well, think of somebody that's logged thousands of hours, and like, yeah, like there's not that amount of time that you can put into it, versus this person who's been doing it for X amount of time. Like you gotta, like, simple as that. You've got to put in the time.
Like you said,
give yourself time.
You've been getting paid to do this for 14 years, but you weren't making what you made in year 1 or 2. You weren't getting hired for these in-depth brand identity systems, in your first or your 3rd year potentially, or what you're making now. Like this shit takes time. Like I've been grinding my ass off outside a day job for 5.5 years until I got to do this full time.
Yeah, no, it's funny, man. Yeah. I think people, we have such instant access to those that have achieved such a wild range of success that we see that in the way we're engaging with it with our phones is so casual and cavalier, and we don't think about it in the terms of like, man, these people have cut their teeth, like they've put in the time, they've done the 10,000 hour expert thing, and that's why they're getting this, but like it's so easy for us to look at other people and be like, man, like why am I not getting that? Like why am I not there yet? And it's just, it's apples to oranges. You've got to, you can't like you say in your talks, like you can't compare your start to someone else's middle,
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, that's the trippy thing. I think that was like a John Acuff quote, but like what I want to teach people, or at least what this podcast is about, is playing the long game. Like you got to live in the micro and play the day-to-day short game, but you have to like keep your head up, know what you want, keep it flexible, realizing that you're going to be in a new season, a new chapter every 3 months, 6 months, a year from now. Things can change, but you just got to adapt, but keep your head up to see the big picture, I guess, live in the micro, but see the macro. It's like, for example, it's like when you're painting a mural and you're so up close in a mural and like going ape shit over all these fine little details and stressing out because your line work may be off or this curve is Zilla off, and you're getting so worked up about like the micro. And then you take a step back, you're like, oh shit, this is like way dope. This is just a small little portion of a much bigger picture.
sure.
And people miss the bigger picture, thinking that the bigger picture happens overnight within the micro, and it doesn't.
No, it absolutely doesn't, and like one thing I've been doing at any portfolio reviews that I take part in is urging the students to go back and look at their work from like year 1, if they're year 4 and about to graduate, like go back and see your progression, like, cause like a lot of them, I think, a lot of times, like as a young designer, there's a shitload of us out there, man. Like like so many creatives out in the world. I think it's a little easy to lose confidence in yourself and be scared, like, oh, I'm not good enough to get this job or this or that. Like I don't have this following on Instagram or Dribble. And like, I go back, like I went back recently and like scrolled all the way through to like the first stuff I'd put on Instagram, and some of it was cringy. I was like, damn, like some of this stuff is really dumb.
I call it posting turds, man. You got to show those turds to grow. It takes a lot of shitty work to stumble across your gold.
You do, but like I also like watched my own progression as I went back up, so like I encourage students to do the same. Like if you haven't had any professional experience and you've just had the school experience, go back and look at what you did in your first design theory class, or like even if you're not in school, like go back and look at like old notebooks that you'd drawn in, and then like look at where you are now. And it's tough sometimes for them to see that without doing that, and then it's like, you know what, it's a confidence booster. Like I have gotten better. Like this stuff does look good. Like, oh, I can't believe I did that. I don't want you to see that. So you have a timeline as well. We just focus on other people's timelines a lot more.
Ooh, that's dope. I like calling it like run your own race at your own at your own pace instead of trying to run someone else's rate. But I like that. You got your own timeline. Stick to your own.
Yeah, totally.
So like, and talk about playing the long game, and you've been in the game for a minute. You've probably attended conferences before. Like I want to talk about crop real quick, because this kind of speaks to you on your own timeline, making the time as well as giving it time. So congrats. This year is year 5, the 5th anniversary.
Yeah.
Which is wild. So like the whole concept of crop, like where did it come from? And now like when you started it, you had to live in the micro, but you had to like envision what 5 years could look like down the road. Like, is this what it looked like to you, or is it something more like when you started to what it is now?
Like I think whenever we started, we had the goal to just bring people together, and we didn't know how many people that would be. I think we originally thought 50. Like, oh, like let's bring 50 people together. Like that seems like a good goal. And then I was like, oh, what about 100? Like, okay, well, like what about 100? I mean, if we're at 100, might as well go to 150. And like we kind of kept like building up these increments, and like then we ended up with a venue that sat like 325, and it's like, oh damn, like did we, like were our eyes bigger than our stomach sort of thing. And like the very first year it sold out, and that's kind of a bittersweet, because it's incredible to like sell out your first year at 5 times like what you thought something was going to be. I don't know if that math is quite right, but I'm sure somebody will call me out on that. But selling out your first year at like this exponentially greater amount than you thought. But it also sets a benchmark where you're just like, shit, we got to sell out everything.
You got to hit a home run every time you get up to the plate.
Right. Yeah, totally. So, luckily we have sold out everything since then, and it's been great. And that's not really the goal. It feels good that many people believe in and like want to come experience it. But, like the goal has always just been bringing people together. So like if you're selling out your venue, then you're bringing a lot of people together, and like that, those goals kind of go hand in hand. But yeah, we've been chugging along for 5 years now. We've done 7 events in 4 years, kind of scattered throughout the US as well, which is cool, because once we started the implementation of pop-up crop in the fall, that's been super well received. There's nothing else like it at the time, where a conference was kind of extending their brand into satellite events. So I was kind of happy to, like, we always try to push ourselves, just like I try to push myself as a creative. There's a lot of sameness in the conference world, which is fine. It's just a formula. So like we try to shake up that formula when we can, by doing stuff like pop-up crops, crop cruise, which didn't, like the universe had other plans for that, and Mother Nature had other plans for that. But we've we didn't want to get to year 5 and be like, what have we done? Like, have we just done the same thing every single time? And I feel like I just did a big recap post of like our videos from the past 4 events, not even the past like 7. And I felt really good. I felt really, really proud that, like we've created these atmospheres and environments that are always a little bit different, but they have the same vibe to them. It's branding. We've nailed our brand, I think. And I think it's evident for those that come and experience it and love it.
It's definitely got this edge, punk rock, unapologetic, but yet still like heartwarming, welcoming, and like accessible and accepting is what I would kind of just like, all those characteristics would be just like crop, in my opinion, from this was my 4th event I'll be attending.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And that's, it's funny. That's the exact vibe that I want it to have. So I feel pretty proud that it's extending to people that can actually say it. Like it's like if I filled out a questionnaire, I'm about to work with a designer. It's like, oh, like what do I want my company vibe to be? I would put that. So I think it's awesome that's actually being, conveyed to the people that are attending.
Well, and I take pride of like not attaching my name to shit that I don't believe in just because I feel like I can hustle and make a quick buck. Like I'm playing long term. So like having you on the podcast or being a sponsor of the conference, it's me just like waving my flag like, yo, this shit is legit. It's changed my life for sure. Like being part of like crop number 2. I spoke at Creative South and then you came and hit me up later that night and dude, we were instant homies and I've been back every year. Totally. And it's something I truly believe in. And it's like, man, I believe in the experience and I want as many people to experience because community and inclusivity is like the backbone of what the Perspective Podcast is and like the Facebook group. It's for a community of people who like feel isolated. And so like they need a taste of this. So like with year 5, what can people expect?
So, I think you can expect the same quality content and value that we've kind of become known with bringing. We always try to bridge the gap between people you'd expect to see at a creative event, but also those that are on the fringe. I feel like we've built a really great reputation with bringing in people that are like, attendees or, like friends, like peers would be like, how the hell did you get, Say Adams to come? Like, he's like the founding creative director of Def Jam Records. He's worked with Beastie Boys and like, he's got this amazing prolific career, but he's not on the circuit, So like we kind of pride ourselves on digging a little bit deeper than just who's bouncing around from this or that. And making sure that there's a good mix, So same thing with like an album, like you're going to have your hits and then like you're going to have your songs that like, if you buy the whole thing on iTunes instead of just the song, which kind of rubs me the wrong way, like you're going to find some gems, like if you listen to the whole thing, you're going to hear those hits, but then you might hear something that's like, holy shit, that song's incredible. So, there's going to be that. We're bringing back some old faces, some crop alumni, and we're also introducing some new faces. And that's what we've done. That's pretty much how we've always played it. And this year is going to be a little bit different format. We're doing 3 days. The first day is going to be a studio tour, kind of more geared towards students or younger designers, but I'm pretty sure a lot of seasoned designers are going to want to go check out.
The dates are April
16th through 18th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In Austin, Texas. So, that studio tour day, like we're going to be going and checking out like Pentagram and GSD&M and some of these like larger than life agencies. We'll kick things off with a kickoff party that night. And then the next day we'll start workshops in the morning, keynotes in the afternoon. And then Saturday we'll do that again with workshops in the morning, keynotes in the afternoon. And then of course parties each night. We're doing 3 parties this year, which I'm hoping I survive because we've never done 3, and the parties, like, even though they're supposed to be fun, they're always an extra layer of anxiety for me because
I have a lot of fun.
Well, I trust all of our, like the workshops and the talks, I have like the utmost trust in our lineup that they're going to crush that, like they're essentially running that. But the parties, like, it's like, okay, people don't have a focal point. Like how are we going to have like all this cool stuff going on, like how are like, you never want to go to a lame party. Like lame parties stick with you and it's like, man, that party sucked. So, like I think the parties, like I always want them to be like memorable to where people are still talking about them. And I feel like we've done well at that. But this year we added a third party and we'll see how it goes.
Are you still having like Industry Print Shop? Shout out to Industry and Tony Diaz and the crew.
Absolutely.
Like live printing. You're still doing the good type challenge, the good type letter challenge?
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of part of our, those are little things that we pepper into the programming, and they're not little at all actually, but they're just extra experiences. The live printing thing, we've done the There Will Be Bleed poster series since year one. And we've got an amazing gallery of posters that have come out of that. And each year, like we pick somebody from the lineup that's willing and has the time, that finds the time to
makes the time for this. Yes.
To make these posters. And like, these people are insanely busy. And the fact that they'll be like, yeah, I'll do this poster that people can come up and print and they get for free. That's pretty awesome. And that's saying something. This year, Amy Hood is doing the There Will Be Bleed 5th anniversary print. So super stoked about that. I have no idea what she's going to do, but I know it's going to be killer. And Industry will be live printing it. We're trying to figure out if we're going to do like a little surprise with maybe the past prints, but can't really get into that just now. And then of course we our good friends, Good Type. We've partnered with them the past few years. Their founder is actually speaking. Brooke is incredible. She's an amazing artist and designer.
I love Brooke here.
But they've been amazing partners for this after party feature that we've done the past few years, where each lettering artist gets assigned a letter that spells out crop, and they have these giant canvases and they spell it out, and it looks almost like a ransom note, like in terms of like style being totally different from this character to this one to this one. So that's always a super fun time and a very high energy. We've had some amazing artists in the past. Yourself, you've done it.
I got that W, just a humble brag.
Lisa Quine was in it last year. Bobby Dixon here in Austin. Jason's last year is awesome. That flamingo was ridiculous. So yeah, and like we've got a whole slew of people that are interested in doing it this year. So I can't wait to see what it looks like. The venue for that is going to be pretty rad. I don't know if there are any skateboard fans out there, but there's a Volcom venue here in Austin, and we're looking to do our big throwdown there.
Nice. And let's just go over the roster really, really quick.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So
talk about those people that are coming back, and then talk about some of those like hidden gems.
Yeah, so we've got a really good mix of folks this year. Of course, we're bringing back, like I said, people that have been a part of it. We're bringing back Draplin. Draplin was one of our first ever speakers way back in our first event. He's been a good friend and supporter of like what we're doing. He goes to a lot of these things, so I'm stoked to have his support and belief in what we're doing. The Hood twins, they spoke at the first event. We're bringing them back. We're bringing back Scotty.D.Russell. Bringing back Scotty, yourself. Feels kind of weird saying that to you. Industry will, of course, be there. Then we're introducing some new faces. We're introducing Meg Lewis, who's an amazing illustrator, educator, just human being.
I got her coming on the show here soon, too, for people who don't know. Yep.
Yeah, Meg is awesome. She is an awesome personality and just like super energetic and positive being. Like I said, Say Adams out of Brooklyn, New York. He's got just like a super prolific career. It started in graffiti and led him to Def Jam Records and working with some of the juggernauts in the hip hop industry that he's worked with. I'm stoked to hear what he has to say. Clark and Brittany Orr, who they've been part of Crop before as vendors, and they actually stepped in when one of our speakers couldn't make it, and they absolutely crushed it. But we wanted to put them on the lineup this year as official. You're on the main roster, and we're super stoked on their talk because
they're on
they did
next
such a
week,
great
right
job
after
last
your
time.
episode too, man. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, just good time. We have some overlap, I would say.
Yeah, Rob Zilla, you know Rob Zilla, Rob Generat?
He's gonna be on before Crop as well. I
Oh,
reached out to
that's
him, so dude,
God.
yeah, I'm like, I
Rob,
need to I want to make sure I connect these people so I can connect with them at the Crop.
Rob is awesome, man. Like he might be like one of the most chill people I've ever met. Like every time I talk with him, like it's just like he could have a million things going on, and you'd never think he was sweating any of it. Like he's just always level and chill. It's great. Brooke from Good Type. Brooke is going to be speaking, telling her story. We've got Austin Locals Good Snake, which are a lettering sign painting duo. They're super rad. You might have hung out with them back in October.
Yeah, they were at Creative.
Yeah, they're badass. They're going to be doing a workshop. We of course got Industry Print Shop doing the There Will Be Bleed thing. Can't wait to see that stuff. We've got Paige Mykoski, she's the founder of Aviator Nation, which is a Southern California like vintage inspired lifestyle brand. The clothes are amazing. The shops are like insanely cool. Colors, like if you're a fan of color, like you look at that stuff, like her fashion designs, and they're just like they're insane. They're like just like I'm not going to use the word pop, but they're a treat for your eyes. And the stores are super cool. Neon, surf inspired stuff, rock and roll. Like there's like records all over the wall. We're actually having our kickoff party at their flagship store here in Austin. They've got a rooftop deck, looks out over downtown Austin. And yeah, we're going to be kicking our party off there. And then we've got Alana Louise, another Austin local, that's going to be doing a live session, kind of like talking us through her illustration process. Like she's an insane illustrator and designer. Hell, so she's one of those people that does it all. So yeah, I'm trying to get on that Alana Louise level. But yeah, I mean, it's a great lineup, and a handful of people are going to be doing workshops as well as keynotes. So we're mixing it all up this year.
We got the brother, the homie, the legend, Brian Manley Manhands. He looks like he's going to be emceeing that shit. Yeah,
Brian's gonna be our MC. He had gotten, whenever he was going to be the MC for the cruise, he'd gotten a shark tattoo in commemoration and celebration. So now he just has a shark on him. But I mean, he's tatted up, anyway, from head to toe. So like, but yeah, we might have to talk him into getting an Austin tattoo when he's here.
No,
maybe a taco or a grackle.
I'll have to get something at the end of this, maybe like an armadillo or I don't know. We'll see. But
there you go.
What can people like? This is gonna sell out. I already know it. So like, I want to give some like plugs real quick. Where can people go to jump on this ASAP and start booking like accommodations?
Yeah. So all the information can be found at cropcons.com. It has all the lineup information, who's doing keynotes, who's doing workshops. We've got a really incredible deal with an awesome hotel here in Austin. It's like walking distance to the venue and lots of cool bars and restaurants and coffee shops. So yeah, cropcons.com. You can find out all you need to know, and you can register. And I hope to see everyone there because it's going to be a good one.
If for those who missed it, there was a promo code in the intro to save you $25 off your registration, so you can put it towards flight or drinks or food or entertainment or merch, whatever.
Or barbecue.
Or barbecue. Yes, yeah. Perfect. So being that the show is fuel for your grind and mind, create a fuel for your mind and grind. What are your internal and external or that get you fired up to show up each day? Even when it's not convenient, you still show up because you love doing this shit. Like, what are those internal and external forces?
Internally, like I always want to keep creating. Like, I don't want to stagnate. I don't want to look back on my work and see a point in my timeline where I stopped trying. Because like the older I get, the more and more younger designers there are that are just like crushing it, running circles around me. And if I want to stay sharp and stay competitive in a friendly sense, like that's good internal motivation for me. I've never wanted to just reach a point where I stop giving a damn and trying. So that's my internal motivation. My external motivation is the community and network that I built with, people like you, people like Amir from Forefathers. I've been fortunate enough through Crop and through, the boom of social media to, make friends all over the world that share similar passions as I do in the creative field. So, being able to connect with people like that on like a daily basis, anywhere in the world, that's really great external fuel for me. Building them up, seeing what they're doing, being inspired by them, bouncing things off people. Cause like work by myself in this office, like you've gotta have text threads or group chats, kind of keep things fresh and not feel so just like blinders on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel you. I'm learning that now that I'm pretty much in my studio all day. I'm like, oh shit, I need to go like draw at a coffee shop real quick or something.
Yeah.
Thank God for like Slack groups and homies. What's one piece of advice you give yourself when you were just starting off, whether design career or professional career related, either or? I guess the same thing, but regardless, before you started getting to like your creativity side, to know this is what you were meant to do, and now just like where you are now, taking that next step in your professional career.
I would have urged myself to not waste as much time as I did and to take things a little more seriously than I was doing at the time. I look back at there's a certain turning point in my career that I really wanted to take design seriously. And that's great that happened, but I can't help but to think where I could be now if the years preceding that point I'd been, really, really getting after it and not just being complacent in what I was doing.
I feel you, man. Damn. I would say I pretty much parallel that a lot. I feel like I wasted a lot of time and got a late start.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I also didn't know what I want. I didn't know what I want. So I made excuses at the same time. So
yeah, I think I didn't know it was possible. And I think that I think that's an advantage that a lot of people have now with, the double-edged sort of constant connectivity is, it's a real thing in both having good and the bad. But I think the overwhelmingly great thing about it is that it's easy now to see what's possible in our career. 14 years ago, a lot of people didn't. I mean, hell, people today still don't really know what graphic design is. But back then, it was even a little bit more vague to the general public and to people getting into it. So the resources weren't quite there unless you really dug and sought them. But now they're at our fingertips, and you can see what's possible, and that's like incredibly motivating. Even being in the field for over a decade, like that's super motivating for me.
I like that. Know what you want, but know it's possible. That's dope. Let's move into rapid fire.
Yep.
We'll wrap things up. If you were on death row, what would your last slice of pizza be?
So it would probably be, man, I don't know if you got to try it last time you were here, if you ever tried it visiting family, but there's this pizza joint here, via 313.
Yeah.
And it's Detroit style pizza. It's not deep dish, but like it's thick, and they cook it they bake it in these cast iron pans. So like the outer crust gets nice. And, dude, I'm probably gonna have to get that for lunch now.
Dude, I need some of that too. Cause it's like, not on like 6th Street down here, but like not Rainy Street, not 6th here. Where's it at? I got it at Pop-Up Crop.
Yeah. So the one you had at Pop-Up Crop was probably on Rainy, because I remember like I don't know how I remember, but we had all gone to this place called Craft Pride, which is this really rad beer bar, ton of great beers, but they have a yard out back essentially, and then they've got Via 313 food truck. And I remember like me and you and Steely and Jason, like we all shared like a couple of pies with the people that were hanging out with us, and yeah, it was really good. But there's one really close to everything crop this year. You could probably throw a baseball to it. It's so close. So I'm pretty sure we'll eat a lot of it.
So anyone listening, if you want to
crop
get on my good side, just like buy me a slice anytime. I'll never turn down a slice. I'll eat that shit like 5 times a day.
But that's easily turned into my favorite pizza. I try not to get it too often because it slows me down too much, but it's pretty damn good.
If you could be reincarnated, what would your new career path be outside of like design and branding and all that?
Oh man.
You already have like the musician side to it.
Yeah, I think I've gotten really back into music recently, but I know that it's going to remain a hobby. I think if I had, I think if I had a reset, it would probably be continuing that in a more professional life earning.
Be on like Lollapalooza stage or something like that, rocking out.
I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but like I love it, and I love having reconnected with it. But I also feel that at this stage in my career as a designer, I don't really want to do anything else. But if I had the opportunity, I think something with music would be really fulfilling.
If you could have lunch with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Lunch with one person, dead or alive. And he's alive. I think I would have lunch with or beer or whatever with Dave Grohl. He's just I don't know. I got a dude crush on him. He seems like a huge ball of energy, massively prolific, creative person, and just a killer story of his life in the music industry for the past 30 plus years.
All right. I'm a big Foo Fighters fan, so I'll take it. Do you believe in aliens or that any other life forms exist outside of our solar system?
I mean, I think they have to. It's out there, man. I don't think we made it up. Like we might have made some things up along the way, but it came from somewhere. So I don't know. I think there's stuff out there.
Do you believe in like ghosts and any other paranormal stuff?
I was watching this. There's this new show on Hulu called Abandoned, and it's this guy from Vice that goes to all these like abandoned places, and they were doing some kind of like ghost segment in one of like the abandoned malls or something, and it got me thinking. Like there's like a really silly side to it with like the investigators and stuff, but like there's also a really like ghost hunters and stuff like that makes it really cheesy to me. But like reading like firsthand accounts, like that stuff like sends chills down my spine. So like I think I believe it, but there are people out there that cheapen it.
Yeah,
I know. I don't want to find out. But
firsthand, you don't want your own firsthand experience. See, I do. Yeah, and at the same time,
do you?
I do and I don't. Like, I truly believe in aliens. They fascinate me, or just like life forms in general. But if some shit like Independence Day happened, oh my God, I don't want any part of that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty gnarly. But yeah, aliens and ghosts, sure, why not?
Cool. I love asking that question. Okay, if you were a font, what type of font would you be, and what would you call yourself?
I think I would be some kind of condensed DIN type sans serif. What I would call myself, I have no idea.
Stay gray condensed.
Stay gray condensed. Yeah. Shit, I should try to make that. I haven't made a font
DDC
before.
hardware, now you can just have like your Stay Gray variable font now on Adobe Fonts or something.
That would be awesome, man. I've never built one. I need to put that on my bucket list.
You got to make time for it. Make it a priority.
Exactly.
Matty Ice, dude, thank you so much for your time today. Where can people go and follow you and support you online?
You can follow me on Instagram at StayGrayPonyboy, and you can check out my website at StayGrayPonyboy.com. And same with Crop. Follow us on Instagram at CropCons. Check out the lineup and register and more at CropCons.com.
Oh, I appreciate your time. I can't wait to boogie. Thank you for including me in the Crop family, dude. Like, you guys are truly family of mine. So I appreciate it. And let's connect after this call. Okay.
Feelings mutual, man. Thanks for having me, Scotty.
Our brother. Peace out.
Peace.
Thanks again for listening. It'd be awesome if you took the time to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let the comment below so we can connect. Again, if you want to catch a shout out as a future listener of the week, make sure you subscribe to the show on iTunes and give it a rating and review.